How to invest effectively when you retire. Imagine you're sitting in the corner of your favorite coffee shop, the hum of the espresso machine blending with a gnawing worry in your chest. Before you lies your financial notebook, the numbers of a lifetime savings staring back, but a haunting question lingers: have I invested wisely? If the market crashes, how many years of hard work will vanish? Is retirement freedom or just a financial trap? Those thoughts hit like a cold wind, making you wonder if you're risking your future without even knowing it. I'm Frank Sullivan, 64 years old, living in Boise, Idaho, where the shimmering Boise River and foothill sunsets remind me that life is worth protecting with smart choices. For 25 years, I was a financial advisor, guiding hundreds into retirement, and I retired early at 58 after realizing I needed to invest smarter, not just to survive but to thrive. Today I'm sharing 5 big lessons from my journey, the mistakes I nearly made, and a bold investment that changed the game. Are you putting your financial future at unnecessary risk? How do you ensure your hard-earned money doesn't slip away? Stay with me because these lessons could save you from costly errors, and at the end I'll share a free tool to get you started. When I retired in 2017, I thought I had it all figured out. A $500,000 portfolio heavy in stocks and confidence that the market would keep climbing. But in 2018, just a year later, the S&P 500 dropped 14.8%, and I lost $74,000. I remember sitting in my home office, the desk lamp casting shadows on my trembling hands, staring at the red numbers on my screen. That wasn't just money, it was 3 years of my final salary as an advisor, the trips I promised my wife, Ellen, and the peace of mind for our later years. The pain of loss in retirement hits harder than when you're working. At 30, a $5,000 loss stings, but you have time to recover. At 60, $74,000 is stolen years of freedom. I learned from Warren Buffett: don't lose money. But I have my own rule: avoid being forced to sell assets at market lows. One sleepless night, I was ready to sell my stocks in a panic, but Ellen sat beside me, took my hand and said, "Frank, we don't need the cash now. Don't let fear win." She was right. If I'd sold, I'd have locked in the loss, missing the 20% market rebound in 2019. I met a former client, Laura, who sold $100,000 at a loss in 2018's panic, and now she works part-time at 67. If I hadn't stayed calm, I could have been Laura. Have you ever thought about how a loss would feel when you're no longer earning? What keeps you steady when the market shakes? That pain taught me that an income strategy is the heart of retirement investing. As an advisor, I saw clients chase high returns, but retirement isn't about maximizing gains, it's about cash flow. Ellen and I calculated we need $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year, for a comfortable life. Mortgage, travel, healthcare, and some extra for our grandson. But if all our money was in stocks, a market dip would force me to sell at a loss to cover bills. I rebalanced my portfolio: 60% in stocks for long-term growth, 40% in bonds and fixed income funds, enough for 5 years of expenses, $300,000. It's like a lifeboat: if the market tanks, I don't touch my stocks. One afternoon, Ellen and I sat on our porch, sunlight filtering through the pines, and she said, "Frank, I've never seen you this relaxed." I knew I'd done it right. But I saw a client, Carl, with no cash flow plan, sell stocks at the 2020 bottom, losing $200,000. If I hadn't adjusted, I could have been Carl. Have you figured out how much you'll need monthly in retirement? What source will keep you safe if markets crash? A big mistake I made was underestimating taxes, the silent thief of retirees. When working, taxes came from my paycheck with little control. Retirement offered a chance to strategize. I have 3 account types: a regular bank account, taxed annually, a traditional IRA, taxed later, and a Roth IRA, taxed now, never again. In 2025, U.S. tax brackets for married couples filing jointly are 10% up to $23,200, 12% up to $94,300, but jump to 22% above that. My first retirement year, I withdrew $60,000 from my IRA, pushing us into the 22% bracket, costing an extra $3,000 in taxes. I remember sitting with Ellen at the district coffee shop in Boise, scribbling on a napkin, and realizing if I withdrew $40,000 from the Roth and $20,000 from the IRA, we'd stay in the 12% bracket, saving $5,000 a year. A friend, Diane, didn't plan taxes and paid double what she needed, losing $12,000 over 3 years. I started using Bolden, a $10 per month software, to plan withdrawals smartly, and worked with an advisor to optimize. If I hadn't woken up, I'd have wasted money on the IRS. Do you know how your retirement funds will be taxed? Who's helping you minimize taxes to keep more? The biggest risk few consider is sequence of returns risk. Early in retirement, I didn't grasp this. But in 2018, I saw a client, Roger, lose 30% of his $1 million portfolio, $300,000, right in his first retirement year as the market crashed when his assets were at their peak. Losses later, when your portfolio is smaller, hurt less. Roger had to withdraw funds during the dip, locking in losses, and now he scrapes by, unable to travel as planned. I dodged this by keeping 5 years of expenses, $300,000, in bonds, giving my stocks time to recover. I used Honest Math, a free tool at honestmath.com, running Monte Carlo simulations showing an 85% chance I won't run out of money. Bolden, at $10 per month, helped me plan further. One day, fishing with my grandson on the Boise River, sunlight glinting off the water, I thought, without this plan, I could have panicked like Roger, sold at a loss and lost everything. Do you think about a market crash hitting just as you retire? How will you shield yourself from that risk? Effective investing isn't just about protecting money, it's about enjoying the journey. As an advisor, I was obsessed with financial goals, but retirement taught me happiness lies in small moments. Fishing with my grandson, sipping coffee with Ellen on the porch, or hiking the foothills. I keep 60% of my portfolio for growth but set aside funds for joy, like last year's $2,000 Yellowstone trip, where Ellen and I stood under a sunset, watching bison, feeling time stand still. A friend, Mark, kept waiting for the perfect time to travel, and now diabetes stops him from going far. One morning, Ellen looked at me over breakfast and said, "Frank, you smile more since we started living for now." She's right. Smart investing balances security with living fully. Are you making room for joy in your financial plan? What are you most excited about in retirement? 4 years ago, in May 2021, I made a bold move. I invested $50,000 in gold when it was $1,867 per ounce. I remember Ellen sitting in her armchair worried, saying, "Frank, are you sure? What if it drops?" But I'd studied the market. Gold is a safe haven during economic uncertainty, and inflation was rising. I bought 26.78 ounces. Today, in May 2025, gold is $2,300 per ounce, and my investment is worth $61,594, a $11,594 profit, up 23.19%. That money fixed our roof, $8,000, bought our grandson a bike, $500, and left enough for a Seattle trip this summer. I'm not saying everyone should buy gold, but I learned that a well-researched, timely investment can be a game changer. A friend, Tom, laughed at me for buying gold, but now he wishes he'd followed, as his stocks only grew 10% in the same period. Have you ever considered an investment beyond stocks or bonds? What gives you confidence to bet on an idea? 6 years of retirement taught me that effective investing protects not just your money but your dreams. From the pain of loss, income strategy, taxes, sequence of returns risk, enjoying the journey to that gold investment. These lessons let Ellen and I live freely without worry. Don't let financial mistakes rob your retirement. Work with an advisor, try the free tool at honestmath.com, or use Bolden, $10 per month, for detailed planning. Ask yourself, what do you want your retirement to look like? What in my story makes you want to act today? Share your thoughts. Subscribe to Stories for Retired for more retirement finance tips. Comment below, which lesson resonated most and how will you apply it? Hit like if my story inspired you and share this with anyone preparing for retirement. Join the Stories for Retired community and start safeguarding your dream future. Now.